I'm living a lifestyle which a lot of people with a lot of money cannot have. Because of the things that happened over the years that I invested in everything, it worked for me. Initially, I did not know whether I am going to be successful in running this or not, and I was told by everybody around me that sir ये चलेगा नहीं, यहाँ पे क्यों आएंगे टूरिस्ट आप बताइए. So my name is Sanjay Osta. I am the founder of Minawak Homes and Cafe Koblu. I was born here. I was put in a boarding school, and that's where I lived for the better part of my life. And then after that, I went to Delhi, where I started my journalism career. So basically, I started my journey as a cub reporter. Salaries those times were like abysmal. Like I started at, I think it was basically a stipend. I think it was a stipend of 2,500, and then I worked only for about 3 years over there as a regular journalist, working somewhere and doing all these kind of different stories. And they used to send you to interview just about anybody. One day I was interviewing Lalu Prasad Yadav. The other time I was attending a fashion event. Some day some flood was happening, some day plane crashes happening, all those kind of things together. And that was a very good experience, by the way, because I saw different kinds of things happening at the same time. And I was about 20 something at that time. Then after that, I started freelancing and I started doing my own thing, and I started pursuing my own kind of subjects, which meant traveling a lot or doing cultural things. And that I did for a long time. Carried that on for about 15 years. All those experiences pile up. They come into, they are advantages that I build on. The reason that you do it, Delhi eventually will spit you out. Seeing all the figures that I saw, worse polluted, my friends wanted a piece of land in Himachal Pradesh and I am sitting in Delhi. That didn't make sense. It was ironic. One day or the other I would do it, but it was very important for me to travel, see the world, and then come and do it. You need to have seen something done somewhere. Like I saw it happen in many places around the world. I said, why can't it be done over here? When I came back over here, I think it was in 2015 or so when I started this project, there was a lot of resistance as well. From the locals, because they saw this guy coming from Delhi and then starting something suddenly over here, because this is not a tourist area. We are, almost about 20 kilometers from the nearest tourist spot, which is Narkanda. So to start something over here in an apple belt, because this is, everybody grows only apples over here. Nobody grows anything, nobody does any other business, because apple economy is what runs this place. When you start building a place like this, and I came over here, you go to a bank and then the bankers come to you, sir, isme laga do, usme laga do. Mostly they are selling you insurance. And I have a situation where I have got so many of these insurance funds and I am paying them, and then I later on figure out, because they sell you insurance funds because they get a lot of commission selling you insurance funds compared to if they were selling you, telling you to put it in mutual funds, for example. I mean, now I'm still paying installments, a lot of installments every year, because I bought these insurance because they have got a long, lock-in period, they call it. If you want to call it investment, that's where I spent a lot of my, what a surplus money I had. Then later on, then I started with mutual funds. So every month I approximately, including insurance and including mutual funds and everything, I must be 1.5 to 2 lakh rupees per month I am putting aside, or I am investing back into the property. I started very small. I had this structure, it was a dilapidated structure. It was basically built by my grandfather 80 years ago, dilapidated structure, and there were 2 rooms which I built on top. And in 2017 is when I put them up first time on Airbnb, because I just knew about Airbnb. And then from there on, we didn't look back. So after 1 year, there were some reports in the media about the property, some nice flattering articles by my friends, I'll be honest. Then I built my other 2 rooms the next year. Then I also developed the Shimla property. Then slowly after COVID, when Mr. Dhoni came, then we got a lot of publicity. I mean, I did not imagine that gentleman was so famous. Oh my God. We had people camping over here from Kurukshetra. They were camping over here, a lot of people from outside. Locals, of course, they knew and they wanted to say, everybody was calling me, मैं आपका वो लगता हूँ, मैं आपके पिताजी का फ्रेंड हूँ, मैं आपको बचपन से जानता हूँ, मेरे बच्चे को साइन करा दो. I did not let anybody come. Not even my nephew, who is a Dhoni fan, came in and got an autograph from Dhoni, because he wanted privacy, and obviously, I mean, it was something that he had come for. He came with his family. What really worked for me was the experience of having traveled quite a lot, and I traveled a lot as a journalist because I used to travel to nice places and I had an opportunity also of going to places and staying in very beautiful properties which are isolated like this one over here. Like for example, in Finland, like I said, number one is where traveled to the Arctic, where I stayed in these cottages far beyond, and they were isolated, very warm. You go inside, I had these jackets on, minus, I don't know what temperature was outside. Go inside, it's like comfortable 25 degrees Celsius. You take off a jacket and you're comfortable. Over here in the hills, what happens is you have a very nice looking house, very architecturally Himachali and all that. अंदर जाओगे आपको रजाई के अंदर जाना पड़ेगा, फिर घर का फायदा क्या है? So what you learn really is that a place has to be built according to its region. अगर आप मेडिटेरेनियन, अगर आप ओमान में हो तो ओमान का जैसा, ओमान के जो एलिमेंट्स है, वेदर एलिमेंट्स है, वो आपके आर्किटेक्चर में आने चाहिए. अगर आप स्कैंडिनेविया में हैं, वहाँ उसकी तरह यू शुड have a house built for the climate. Couple of elements that we have integrated over here. One thing is, when you're coming over here very far away, is that there are cultural elements that people come to see. You don't want an international experience when you come to a farm stay. International experience you want, you stay in Taj. International experience, you stay in the Oberois. Over here, when you get up in your room, you should see cultural elements. Your chair should look a little different. Your paintings on the wall or frames on the wall should tell you about that particular place. Your architectural, elements in the room should tell you where exactly you are. So that is one. Like architectural elements are important. Insulation and other comforts, bells and whistles is another thing that we do not compromise on. So basically what people do now is that they say, okay fine, we are going to have like a Himachali home because that is what attracts tourists. Tourists को attract करने के लिए हम इसको हिमाचली स्टाइल में बना देते हैं, जैसे 200 साल पहले बना था घर, वैसा ही बना देते हैं. But they are poorly insulated, they are uncomfortable, they don't have good bathrooms, they will tell you bucket से पानी नहा लीजिए, because उन्होंने they have passed on the the onus of eco-friendliness to the customer. You have to do it yourself. अगर आपके पास, we got tubs in most of our rooms. Now we have tubs because we harvest a lot of water. You can do rainwater harvesting. We harvest almost 3 lakh liters of rainwater every year, which feeds all our needs for our tubs as well as whatever water needs that we have, washing and everything. So you don't need excuses. You can give luxuries in a place like this because people want comfort. When they come for a holiday, they don't want an education on eco-friendliness and all the rest of it. You have to have them in place, and that onus should be on you. So another thing over here is, you are sitting over here and we are almost about 100 meters from the road. Now imagine if you're going to be making any kind of structure over here, whether it's a room, whether it's a cottage like this, anything, it's going to be at least 3 times more expensive than compared to a similar structure that you were making in any city. Because over here everything is coming from the city, which is almost about what, 200 kilometers away or 400 kilometers away if you're talking about Delhi. All of that adds to the cost. Over here, the material, for example, a piece of tile which is 200 square feet, over here it will cost me almost 350 square feet because everything is coming on back over here. So all of that adds up, and then there's a lot of breakage as well. Or then sometimes you don't get the right material, you have to go back to the city. There's a lot of, time is wasted, money is wasted going back to the city, getting it, researching. All of that adds up a lot. And so a bathroom, for example, over here is going to cost you 3 times as much as you're going to build in a city, also because of the kind of elements that you have to put in a cold place. We're a high altitude place, it's very cold in the winter, it's almost minus 15 sometimes. So you need to give some kind of comfort over here for people who are coming and staying over here. So we have heated floors over here in a bathroom, which meant that if a heated floor, for example, in a bathroom which is approximately the size of bathrooms that we have, is going to cost you almost 1 lakh plus. So all of these cost a lot of money. These are additional costs. And another additional cost, so when you start doing insulation, initially you have to invest a lot of money. We use insulation called extruded polystyrene. Basically our rooms are wrapped around with this insulation. Okay, all our glasses that you see, the window panes, they have DGUs. So all of that traps in the heat so that you don't have to use a lot of heaters. In the long run, it really works, but initially you have to put a lot of money. That's why I said that if you're making a house over here, it's going to cost you almost 3 times as much compared to a house that you were building in any city. Value additions are never going to stop in a property, and they should never stop. Things are changing year by year everywhere. So we are changing things and we are adding different elements over here. Like astronomy was my passion. Travelers who come this far, and they are very different kind of travelers who come this far. They come for peace, they come for quiet, they come for to look at the farm animals that we have over here, the rabbits, the ducks, the ponds, the farm, and they come for serenity, they come for privacy. We give complete privacy over here. So all of these elements they come for. So those are the interests that align with them. My passion for astronomy I share with those people, and they appreciate it. So all of these are value addition. They cost a lot of money. My telescope is very expensive, almost 8+ lakh rupees. It's the largest privately owned telescope that you can buy in India. Passion for farming. They learn composting over here, for example, and then berry picking to to fruit picking when fruit is in season. So all of these things are something that we do on a daily basis, and people who come over here, they want to participate in that. I don't take anybody's advice, and it's very, like I said, you should take anybody's advice with a pinch of salt, because you do not know the backstory of that person. People, when they look at me in a camera interview or something, they just see the success. They do not see that there are certain elements which are coming together for me. Like, for example, everybody's dream, very famous celebrities, millionaires saying, my dream is to leave everything, go into the mountains, have a farm with animals. So that is the dream I have achieved, more or less. I don't have to worry about these things. But a lot of things have come together. I happen to be a Himachali. I happen to have this piece of land. I happen to have an experience of how to build and make it sustainable. Make Meena Bagh a profitable farm stay. Open a cafe, make it profitable. All these things have come into place. That is why I'm in this position to do and pursue my passions. But I cannot say, yaar, tum bhi yahi karo. I spend almost 5 to 6 hours every day on the farm. Not that it's giving me any money. It's giving me satisfaction that nothing else will give me. But if people just see the passion, that's not where you make money. You need to have something else working for you, and then you can pursue your passion. Usually there's this story, travel the world. But you need the resources, my friend, to travel the world first. You can't have these vague ideas, abstract notions of doing something for following your passion. This is a very misleading, like I said, an idea. Follow your passion. But you need to have something working for you, something behind you for you to follow the passion. I have something, that's why I'm able to do all these things.